Hey guys, what's going on? So in the video today, I'm very excited because in today's video, I'm going to be talking about these boots right here. These are my Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome boots. So these are from Renavgoods, and these are in Chloe Natural Crust Shell Cordovan, and these are my first pair ever of engineer boots. So this was a 100% made to order boot. This wasn't something that Renavgoods typically ran, but I, was talking to Ray. We were going back and forth, and I really wanted to try some engineers, but to be honest, I haven't tried engineers yet for a few reasons. First off, that super long aggressive shaft that they typically have, they're typically like, I don't know, they're super high. That was never something that really appealed to me. I don't know why, I just don't feel like it's my style. Going out the gate, I knew I wanted to make it a shorter engineer, which is what we did. So this is a 6-inch engineer as compared to like an 8 or a 10 or whatever else they go to. There's some crazy ones. What else was really cool was they developed this last specifically for the engineer. So this isn't a last that Renavgoods typically has ever used before. They actually did design this last for these engineers. So let me talk about why I selected this leather for the Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome. So my buddy Phil at Ashland Leather, he got some natural shell Cordovan Vibergs a couple years ago, and they were plain toe, and the reason why he went for that was because he wanted the blankest canvas upon which to leave his patina on. And what better choice than that, right? Than basically an off-white leather. It's going to show everything, and I know that that's not something that most guys want, but in a patina contest, that is what you want. You want a pair of boots that is basically a blank slate that you can draw all over, paint all over, get crazy with, get wild with. You want a leather that's going to really accentuate and show every scuff, scar, abrasion, stain, mark, everything. And so that's why I've had my eye on this natural crust shell for a very long time. It is such a captivating leather to look at. There's so much to it, actually. And in fact, I'm going to get into this some more, but there's something about it that it's almost like bone, almost. Like it's almost got like a matte appearance at first, but then as you wear in and as you sort of bump it and put stress on certain areas, it almost becomes more of a waxy, smooth consistency, and it does get darker. It's very strange. It's almost like a very, very fine micro suede, like a chamois. Like it does have a nap to it. I can tell as I brush. It probably won't capture on camera, but as I brush up and down, it lightens up there. So it does have a nap, similar to suede, but it's just so microscopic. Yeah, the other thing is about the bony appearance that it has, which to me is really crazy. So it's almost got like a fuzziness, like a matte feel on the texture, but then on areas that are high stress, high wear, it does smooth down, and it goes from being like a chalky white color to more of like a sort of a nice warm golden off-white. It's just a darker version, almost like a natural leather would normally look, almost like a warm woodsy appearance that it has as it darkens up. The reason why I have been so captivated with the natural crust shell for so long is because my one buddy Ticho Blanco on Instagram, he had a pair in natural crust shell, and then my other buddy, Farmer's Mums on Instagram, he's also doing his Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome pair is also in natural crust shell Cordovan. So crust shell Cordovan has been something that's been on my radar for quite some time. Every pair that I see in it, I'm just so blown away and captivated by. I think it's such a cool, intriguing leather, and I'm glad I finally got my hands on some. It's just like the pictures capture, that is just as cool as they look. So anyway, so let me go over what we went with for this made to order model. So this was an engineer 6-inch tall natural Chloe crust shell Cordovan from the Chloe Tannery in Italy. Structured toe, new last, brass buckle, single midsole, no lining, natural welt and edge, army green cord, half sole, woodsman heel, a welt 270 degree, so yeah, 270 degree Goodyear welt, and all for the price of $610. Now that is a steal. That I don't have to tell you what a steal that is. I believe Westco ran an Engineer in the same leather, and I think it was like something like $1,400. So I don't need to tell you that going the Indonesian route, you're not only customizing it every step of the way, but you're also getting a hell of a deal. I mean, you're basically paying no overhead. You're basically paying for the materials and the workmanship, and they even cover shipping. I mean, you don't get much better of a deal than that. $610 for these is an unheard of price. So all you have to do is just be willing to work with them, you know, through DMs and send them money through PayPal and all that. But yeah, the end result is phenomenal and not something that you're going to get, definitely not cheaper anywhere else. So let's talk about the welt a little bit. So yes, the welt is a 270 degree. It appears to be a Goodyear welt. The front of the vamp is double stitched, and then the other welt extends along to the 270 degree mark. Yes, we've got that woodsman heel. We've got this enclosure strap right here, a nice hardy brass buckle, and then another buckle up here at the top at the shaft. We've got a rolled top shaft opening here. We've got a pull tab, which is necessary, by the way. Yeah, the patterning on it is just gorgeous, just so brilliant. We've got a full heel counter, back heel strip, very neat stitching on the back heel strip, similar to like what I would envision like some of these cowboy boots have going on. So let me talk about a little bit about how these boots, since they were first for me, I did have a bit of a crisis. In terms of fit, I went with my standard 8.5D. After trying the 8.5E, I believe on my Grigio horse rumps, I definitely concluded that yeah, I want to keep it at D width. As wide as my foot is, I think that I'm sizing correctly with the D at an 8.5D. Had I gone down in length like to an 8, then I think I'd need to mess around with widths. But I think the way that I wear my boots, the 8.5D is just the perfect fit, and playing around with widths from there isn't always a wise idea. So I'm very happy I went with the D width. This is a very generous fitting last, so there's definitely no squeezing of my foot in any capacity when they're on. Now I will say that getting them on at first was very difficult, which is why I ended up having to order some things to help me get these boots on and off. So again, the fit is 100% correct. They had me do all my foot measurements, including my measurement around my instep. I had to do this a few times. I wasn't sure that I was doing it right, but he basically shaped the instep off of how I measured it. And so it's good. Like, the fit is really good. It's just, and this is probably a good thing, that it's hard to get my foot in and out of this thing, because it probably means that it's, you know, just the right measurements all the way around. To get these boots on, at first I could only wear super duper thin socks to get these on and off. If I wore anything from a midweight on up to a thick weight sock, I would not be able to get these off. It was hell. It was next to impossible to get these off. Like, I could get them on with some thicker socks, but getting them off was a different story. Like, and I already have a bad back, so I had to order some gear to help me out with that. These are some ultra long shoe horns from Velvet Finer Men's Accessories. I don't know. I got these on Amazon. They really did the trick. You need a longer shoehorn to get down in there. And then my man Jimmy at Nerdin' with Boots, otherwise known as Trinity Handmade, that guy is like MacGyver. Like, whenever I have an issue with anything, like, he has a solution up his sleeve. So I always consult with him, not just on boot related matters, but on other things, just because he's got a really good savvy about him. He's really he's really a good, like, technical mind. He really figures stuff out very well. He's he's like Johnny on the spot with any recommendations I might need. And I told him, I was like, oh man, I cannot get my feet out of these things. I've never worn cowboy boots. I've never worn Engineers before. He's like, oh yeah, that's normal to have a hard time getting your foot out of this style of boot, because it's a slip-on. It's not a lace-up. And so the way that the boot sits on your foot is it has to rely on the proper tension, especially in the instep. And so sometimes that instep can be a little too tight, and getting the boot off can be hard. And so he recommended a boot jack. I had never heard of a boot jack, but this is a boot jack. So this is by the Ariat brand, which my buddy Angel at Nobleman's Apothecary, he's bought Ariat boots before. I believe they're mostly cowboy boots. This thing literally saved my back. This is literally the best thing I've ever bought for for 20 bucks in terms of, you know, boot accessories. So yeah, it's super simple. The way that it works is when you're going to take your boots off, you just step on it with one foot, and then you get your other foot in there in that wedge, and you just pull it off. You just pull your foot right out. Your foot just pops right out. And so that has led to some extra patination on the heel counter, which is really cool. I don't know if the camera can capture that here, but yeah, the boot jack totally saved my life. So thank you, Jimmy. You totally saved my life with these. He's got such good advice. Like seriously, like if you're ever having a fit issue or something, he's really good at knowing the solutions. And again, this might have been something that was obvious to people that have traditionally worn cowboy boots and engineer boots, but I never had. You know, as much boots as I have, it doesn't mean I'm an expert on all boots. It means I just know what I've worn, you know. So since I've never worn something like this before, this really came into play. Very happy for this. Really saved my back, literally. Once you get the first boot off, you just step on it with the other boot and just lift your foot right out. It just comes right out. And it hasn't, you know, damaged anything either, because the way that this is designed, it's got like a soft, I believe this is a suede material already covering the wood area where it would come in contact with the boot, and so it's not going to damage the leather. It'll leave a mark, but it's not going to damage it. And the other thing is so my buddy Jake at Almost Vintage Style, he obsesses over pant leg openings, the width of the pant leg openings, and the reason being is because when he got into engineers, he realized that he couldn't wear as slim of pants with engineers like he normally does typical boots. The reason being is this shaft is a lot wider compared to, so like a boot like this, these are my Grant Stone boots in bourbon suede, the shaft opening is as wide as my leg basically, whereas this is quite more bulbous. This kind of puffs outward, you know, it kind of mushrooms out, blooms out. So when it's on your foot, there's more leather material that gets caught up underneath your pant leg. Now that can look really awkward, especially I wear all 14-inch leg opening pants, and so it does look awkward. Obviously I don't want to tuck my cuffs into the boot, so I have one pair of pants that is not 14 inches. It's my 316 Shadow Selvage denim, and I believe those are 15-inch leg openings, and they're perfect. That extra inch is all I need to house that opening there. And so because of that super duper dark inky Shadow Selvage color, they're almost an off black. Because I wear those, and because of the indigo crocking, I have gotten just the best indigo crocking onto these engineers. As you can see all around here, we've just got so much bluing from the crocking from the indigo that it's really helping me along with the patina progress. That's the only pair of pants that I can wear reasonably with these so that they don't look ridiculous. If I'm hanging out at home all day, it doesn't matter what pants I wear, because I know that I'm the only one seeing how ridiculous I look. So I'll wear these throughout the day, like when I'm working in my leather shop or whatever. But if I'm gonna go out, then I have to wear those 316 Shadow Selvage denims, and I'm very thankful for that, because it does serve the double purpose of not only looking proper with these boots, but also getting all that indigo crocking. It really helps me out in that patina progress that I'm trying to achieve. Just to give a little bit of a preview, I like the Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome competition. I love the spirit of competition, but if I'm being honest, like I also don't like keeping things to myself, and I want to help people patinate their boots. So I'm not really trying to win. If I could help people along with their patina journey to make their boots look really cool at the end of this, then I would love to offer my advice. I don't mind revealing my tactics here. So here we have my Grant Stone Ottawa boots in honey glazed, otherwise known as natural shell Cordovan. And then here are my Grant Stone Edward boots in the same leather. natural shell Cordovan, otherwise known as honey glazed shell Cordovan. Now, as you can see, the patina is dramatically different between these two pairs. This pair hasn't been worn nearly as much as the Edwards. The Edwards were both worn hard for a long time, but also heavily conditioned with Venetian and Saphir and pure polish. So what you do is you heavily condition these with Venetian leather balm, let that soak in, and then you top it off with a coat of the pure polish wax, and that creates that really deep, rich, almost orangey appearance that this has achieved. This is just to show like the phases. So obviously this natural crust shell is much more light of a color, but natural shell will basically start like this. When they're fully conditioned and patinated, you'll get this. And so this is the step-by-step that I'm hoping to achieve. So I'm hoping that, you know, by the end of the Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome, I'm hoping that I will get to a point where I could justify conditioning these maybe with some Venetian. I'm hoping that they will start to darken up and look something more akin to this. This is the patina I'm probably the most proud of all my boots. This right here. This is the glowing achievement of my boot patinating of all my patina that I've ever done. This right here is, I'm the proudest of this because no pigments were added to this. This was honest wear, hard wear, and good knowledge went into, you know, I used, Wyatt taught me how to really polish these up and make them look like $1 million. So I know that good expert knowledge went into the treatment of these. I wasn't just throwing random stuff, random gunk onto here. I know that I was, you know, doing right by the leather, by the type of leather and by the color of it, you know, not adding pigments. That's big. The way that this has come together, I'm really happy with. So yeah, so I'm hoping to get a similar outcome with these Renav engineer boots. I'm hoping that by the end of this, they look just as destroyed, but in a good way, as these Edwards do. So I'm really holding out. I know that these definitely aren't ready to be conditioned yet, and I'm not. I know that Ticho, he conditioned his natural crust shell, and once you condition them, like, they're never going to have that matte appearance anymore. They're never going to have that. They're never going to show their like micro suede nap anymore. It's basically gonna be a permanent thing. So if I go hitting this with Venetian, it's gonna considerably change the appearance. So I don't want to do that just yet, but I really want to get to a point to where they're nice and beat up and they're asking for it. Because if they don't ask for it, I'm not going to condition them. So yeah, so I just have to keep wearing them hard, keep putting them through the ringer, take them on hikes. I haven't really taken these on hikes because I've been just so busy here working on leather stuff. This is what I'm hoping these will end up being like at the end of the journey. So we'll see. Let's hold out and see what happens, but I'm definitely not going to force any part of it to happen, because if you do, then it starts looking like you're deliberately, like, you know, trying to go for a patina effect, and I don't want that. I want the patina to come as naturally and as normal through routine wear and use. So these are 2 months in, and I gotta say, the first time I wore these, every single splash of water that got on these, it left the mark. In fact, I still see some of the water marks on the vamps here. I spilled, I think, some coffee, and it's left a stain, so I'm loving it. I think that every step of the way, every little thing that happens to these leaves a lasting impression, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is what patina is all about. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about these boots in the comments below. You can follow me on Instagram. My username is AeroSurferLV. I'll be posting patina update pictures of these as time goes on. I think we still have 5 months left, so we will see where the patina takes us. So anyways, thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see y'all in my next video.